Every day, millions of barrels of oil leave the Middle East, fueling economies across the globe. But what happens when that supply is threatened? From Asia to Europe, entire nations rely heavily on oil flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. Today, we're counting down the countries that depend the most on Gulf oil and what it means for the global economy. The Persian Gulf region, including Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates, holds some of the largest oil reserves in the world. Roughly 20% of global oil consumption passes through one narrow route, the Strait of Hormuz, that makes it a global choke point. Any disruption here doesn't just affect one region, it affects everyone. The world's largest energy consumer, China imports massive amounts of crude oil, much of it from the Gulf. Its industrial base, transportation, and growth all depend heavily on stable oil flows. India relies on imports for over 80% of its oil. A huge portion comes from Gulf countries, making it extremely vulnerable to disruptions. Japan has almost no domestic oil. It imports nearly all of its energy, much of it from the Middle East. A major industrial powerhouse with heavy reliance on imported oil, especially from Gulf suppliers. Pakistan's economy is highly sensitive to oil price changes, with Gulf imports playing a key role. Rapid industrial growth means rising energy demand and growing reliance on imported fuel. Italy imports oil from multiple sources, including the Gulf, to support its economy and transport systems. France uses a mix of nuclear and imported oil, but Gulf supply still plays a role in energy security. Germany's diversified energy system still relies partly on imported crude, including Gulf sources. While it has North Sea oil, the UK still participates in global oil markets influenced heavily by Gulf supply. The US produces a lot of oil domestically, but global prices are still tied to Gulf supply, so even indirect dependence matters. A major refining hub that depends heavily on imported crude, including from the Gulf, relies on imported oil to power transportation and industry. Imports a significant portion of its oil, with Gulf suppliers playing an important role. If Gulf oil stops flowing, prices surge globally, inflation rises, economies slow down. Even countries that don't directly import from the Gulf feel the impact through global markets. That's how interconnected the system is. The world may be moving toward renewable energy, but today, Gulf oil still powers much of the global economy. And until that changes, stability in this region will remain critical for everyone. If you want more deep dives into global economics, geopolitics, and energy, subscribe and stay informed. Because what fuels the world shapes the future.